We are live. Welcome into the Bullpen Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Krogman. Welcomed in by my co-host, Adam Kunos, and his lovely wife. You will hear her in the background shortly. But we are ready to bring you another episode of the Bullpen Podcast here, October 19th, 2022. It is 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And we already have a baseball game that's over today because the Major League Baseball schedule decided to drop this bitch at 1:30 Pacific. We are going to get into that because I don't understand. So it is LCS week or weekend or whenever you're listening. We are sponsored by Fanatics, so head on over to Fanatics and use our link to get all of your LCS gear. That is League Championship Series, in case you are new to baseball and hiding under a rock. And if you're listening to this podcast, there's a very good chance you understand what the fuck's going on. So, Adam, what's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. It was nice. Last Saturday, we sat outside. We had a fire going. We watched some baseball. We actually did watch the entire marathon that was the Astros-Mariners Game 3 while flipping back and forth to the Guardians-Yankees walk-off that happened. It was just a great weekend for baseball overall.
Yeah, lovely divisional series that had happened. The Yankees and Guardians being the most or the longest lasting series, I guess. Yankees winning 3-2 after a rain out shit show on what was that? Monday night?
Friday night, I think they had a rain out.
No. Because they just ended yesterday, right?
They had two rainouts in this series. They had a rainout. Shit.
I think they had Sunday into maybe it was Sunday into Monday, and then they took one day off and then played today.
Yeah,
they're playing right now. The LCS, the American League Championship Series. But yeah, we'll get into the League Championship Series. Adam and I guess are fine, wonderful. Divisional series went probably to the favorites. Overall, except for the Phillies beating the Braves, which that was actually no. Both NL games went to the underdogs. Both AL games or series went to the favorites. Houston getting the sweep. Yankees, like I said, won 3-2. Padres win 3-1 over the Dodgers, correct? And then also the Phillies beat the Braves 3-1. Yeah, we'll jump into it. Anyway, in other news, Adam, why don't you tell us what else is going on around the world of the hardball?
Well, last week we did receive some sad news from the world of baseball. Bruce Sutter did pass away at the age of 69. Former Chicago Cub, came up with the Chicago Cubs in 1976. Most known for his time with the Cardinals, as he did help close out the 82 World Series against the, at the time, Milwaukee Brewers, and then finishes up his career with the Atlanta Braves, retires from the game in 1988. Won the 1979 NL Cy Young, four-time NL Closer of the Year in 79, 81, 82, 84. Five-time All-Star, inducted to the Cardinals Hall of Fame in 2005 and National Baseball Hall of Fame the following year in 2006. Just a sad day for baseball because he was just such a great player in the 80s. If you grew up around that time, he was probably your more dominant closer in the mid-80s, especially with the Cardinals. But yeah, just some sad news to kind of kick the show off, unfortunately.
Kick it off. That's it's a rough way to say that. That's okay though. We're here to bring you all the news. So yeah, sad. I remember Bruce Sutter honestly mostly with the Cubs. Interestingly enough, even though I wasn't alive for but for only 1 year of that. I guess a little bit with the Cardinals, but I don't remember him with the Braves at all, which is super interesting since that's when I would have been kind of just getting into baseball at the ripe young age of 7. So, yeah, man, a reliever winning the Cy Young is special. It hasn't happened often. Last time was Eric Gagne. I think it's only happened like 3 or 4 times. We've touched on
Yeah.
this once on the show before. Uh, closer of the year for consecutive. Or no, he missed 1980. He must have gotten. I was just about to say COVID for some reason. You must have gotten sick or gotten hurt for him to miss a year because he was obviously dominant in the early 80s. But yeah, fantastic pitcher, Bruce Sutter. God rest his soul. 69 years old, way too young.
Absolutely, and I know that the Cardinals sent out a tweet. I'm sure that the Cubs and Braves will do probably some memorials for them at the start of next season, and you'll probably see some memorial patches for those three teams, or just
Cubs will. Braves are not a good organization. They'll probably completely pass it over.
Yeah, but I can see the Cubs. The Cubs. I see what you did there. I can see the Cubs and Braves though. Just doing kind of like a sleeve patch to honor him next season, though.
Man, there's got to be so many people that die that they don't do patches and shit for.
That is true. I mean,
you know what I mean, or like I don't know, man. Bruce Sutter. I mean, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's 6-time All-Star. I don't know, man. It makes me like it doesn't make like he doesn't strike me as like a household name that you would recognize like that. I mean, a lot of our fans probably know who he is if you're a little bit older, but younger generation probably doesn't have a clue who Bruce Sutter is. He's not super duper famous, but
yeah.
We'll see if those clubs decide to honor him in any way. I could see like a memorial plaque or some sort of Bruce Sutter Day or something, maybe on his birthday or something like that. They do something.
Yeah.
When is his birthday? Let's find that out. See if it's even during the season. Nope. January 8th. So that's not going to happen.
No.
But yeah, maybe they'll do something for him, but we'll see. I do find it interesting when teams do and don't decide to do honors for players or whatever.
A good example of that is when Dick Allen passed away. He split time between the Phillies and the White Sox. The Phillies actually wore number 15 sleeve patch, but the White Sox did not they did honor him during a game, but they didn't have any memorial patch under jersey or anything. So it's kind of interesting how, like you said, how teams choose to honor former players who passed during the season or during the off season.
Yeah, for sure. But thoughts are with Bruce Sutter's family and Cardinals and Cubs and Braves fans who mourn the loss of Bruce Sutter. Died too, like I said, too young. So do you want to move on to the divisional series recap, Adam, or do you want to touch base on any other news and notes around the league? Where would you like to take the folks on this wild ride?
Let's just jump right into the division series, because if you were placing, did you place money on any of the series? That's the big question.
No.
Well, if you were, let's just jump right into it, and let's just start with the National League, which was mostly upsets everywhere you looked in each of those series. Let's just start with the defending champs are knocked out. We will have a new World Series champion at the end of it all. We will have no repeat champion again. So the Braves got eliminated by the Phillies. They lose 3-1. Phillies come out in game 1. They win 7-6. Braves bounce back, shut the Phillies out 3-0. And then the Phillies just pretty much turn the offense on, win game 3 9-1, and then close out the series 8-3 in game 4. It's just interesting to see how good the Braves were towards the end of the season, how just good they were the closeout season, and all of a sudden they just completely fall apart in the division series.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Oh, boo! I know the NL East fan now has to watch another team.
Yeah, it's really kind of pointless either way. Either with the Phillies or the Braves winning. I think I said at the beginning of the series, somebody asked who, some Mets reporter asked who Mets fans were rooting for, and I said the weather. So I don't care. So you asked if I had bets. I used free bets early in the year on multiple World Series winners. I think I ended up using like maybe 8 free bets, so a total of like $80 in completely free bets that MGM hands out weekly if you bet so much per week. So I used a lot of them on World Series futures because that's the best way to use free bets. If you get free bets, pro tip everybody, use them on futures. It's your best way to cash out those big tickets or get good odds on something that's, you have a good chance of winning. So I have 3 of the 4 World Series people left out of my, like, maybe it was only 6. Because I have the you guess who I have left. You guess guess which team I don't have a futures bet on.
Is that the Mets?
Well, they're not still in it, fucker.
All right. I'll say the Dodgers.
They're still not in it. I have 3 of the 4 remaining teams.
All right. So let's see. You didn't place anything on the Phillies. I'll say you had the Braves in the Phillies spot.
No, I have the Phillies, I have the Yankees, and I have the Padres. The only one I don't have is the Astros. So, unless the Astros win the World Series, I will win some amount of money.
Okay.
Which is fine.
3 out of 4 is not too bad. 3 out of 4 is not bad.
No, especially when you're picking, and I don't like picking like super favorites when you're placing futures bets because the payout's not as good, right? So like the Phillies I got at 30-1. The Padres I got at 18-1. And that was well before the Soto trade.
Yeah.
The Dodgers or the Yankees I got at 8-1. That's my lowest one. But I never placed the Astros because the Astros were always under like 5-1 to win the World Series. So I just never really bothered with any of that. So I don't really care who wins as long as it's not the Astros. That's who I'm pulling for. But if I had to like root for somebody to win, it would be the Phillies, only because they have the longest odds. I could give a flying fuck that they're the Phillies and they're in the NL East, and that there will be another team in the NL East with another World Series before the Mets. But dude, the Mets are doing this to themselves. So Mets are gonna Mets. If I can make money rooting for the Phillies, I don't care. And that's a shout out. That's a shout out to my boy Lucas Berry.
There you go.
He's the biggest anti-Philly guy on the planet. Anyway, so Adam, Phillies sweep not sweep, but they win 3-1. I had this series Philly 3-2. You had it Atlanta 3-2. Not really interested in that. What I am interested in is your thoughts, and this will be an overall question, but like specifically to this series. Do you think the time off hurt the Braves?
Oh, absolutely.
They were red hot going into the end of the season. They had like a 5 or 6 day break between their last game with the Nationals, or no,
the
Nationals. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I think the Mets played the Nationals to end, but they played maybe Florida, whatever. Whoever the Braves ended with, and then the start of the Philadelphia series was like a week apart. So it's your opinion that it hurt them?
Oh, absolutely, it hurt them. I mean, this is the first time that you're going into a playoff series where you're getting maybe a 5-day layoff if you're a division series winner, or you get that top 2 seeds, because you're not going to the wild card round. You're not having those set rotations for a short 3-game series. You're giving players time off. You're bringing them in for maybe 2-3 hour workouts every day. Maybe you give them a day off in between that time. You those simulated games. You try to recreate as much live action baseball as possible. But the fact is, you're not playing games. You're not seeing different pitchers, not seeing different hitters every day. That is going to affect you in how you play. each week or each day technically. So yeah, I think the time off did hurt them. I think that time away from in-game action did hurt them.
It's interesting. I mean, I agree. And we saw it also in the honestly, we saw it in 3 out of 4 series, really, because the Guardians pressed the Yankees to the brink. Astros were the only ones who really took care of business, and it's not like they blew the Mariners out of the box. I mean, they won by a total of 3 runs. All 3 games combined, 3 runs, 8-7, 4-2, 1-0. So, and we'll touch on that in depth more. But what do you think baseball has a problem here with how they set these playoffs up for the teams that have quote unquote earned their bye and are now all pressed into basically losing because they've been off so much? Do you think that this is a problem for baseball, that we're really getting like true champions, or are we getting fucking hottest teams at the time versus a team that is off for 5 days?
I don't think baseball is a problem. I absolutely fucking love this. I say this because I see this in. I'm gonna go to the NFL. You can have a team get a wild card bye, get a 2-week break from playing, and absolutely show up in that division series and fucking blow it, fucking come out flat against a wild card team who had to earn their spot to get into the playoffs, playing red hot in a Week 17 game, going into that wild card game, still playing red hot and keeping that momentum going. I think that you get a wild card team who fought for that last spot, like the Phillies did. They had to fight to get into the playoffs to earn that 6th spot. They took care of business in the wild card round, and then they're taking care of business in the division series. They are just staying with that momentum as they're going forward. I actually don't have a problem with this.
So let's say we eliminate the bye altogether. Dude, team, like what I'm saying is like, yeah, they had to earn their spot, but only in a more recent vantage point. If you look at like Atlanta or whoever wins that division, Atlanta, Houston, New York, all these teams that won their division, they earned their spot. They earned it all year long. They played 162 fucking games only to basically be forced into not having the opportunity to stay hot or to be hot. And now they're flat because baseball said, "Oh, we're going to give you a week off. You've earned it, Atlanta. You've earned it, New York. You've earned it, Houston. Go ahead and chill out for a week and then come out flat as fuck against a team that's red hot."
Well, do you think that baseball looks at this maybe after the next collective bargaining agreement comes saying, hey, we tested a 12-team playoff system. Let's go back to a 16 playoff team. Let's go back to those 3 division winners, 5 wild cards. Let's do a 16-team playoff format. Do you think they reevaluate when the next collective bargaining agreement comes up?
They should. I think going up is stupid. Like adding more teams is fucking ridiculous. Like enough is enough. We play so many goddamn baseball games. We don't need to add more. That's just a revenue boosting thing. If you want to make it a revenue boosting thing, then figure out how to schedule games better. Don't fucking play games in the middle of the day for a league championship series. These, when we were growing up, Adam, these were primetime big ass events that were like the only thing on TV. Now,
and at the time they alternated days too. And at the time you had the AL start first, then the NL. You alternated every day. Like you had AL, you would have maybe 2 games on at the same time, but they would be on a weekend where people were off. You would start maybe like at 4 on a weekend, not
or you would have them
on
like
a Wednesday afternoon.
Or like a 1 p.m. and a 5 p.m. You would have almost an hour in between. Like the NFL has this on lock. They know what they're doing. That the reason like championship series is the weekend for the NFL is the biggest weekend in all of sports is because they've done it so well for so long and they know how to schedule their events. They're even smart enough to flex games when they have a better game than the shit game that they decided to pre-schedule, 16 weeks ago or whatever. So
I love the flex schedule. I love the flex schedule.
MLB is terrible with marketing. Terrible. Like this is Apple TV shit show. This fucking playoff thing, complete shit show in my opinion. With like most people haven't been able to watch a good portion of these playoff games because they've been in the middle of the fucking day. Because you had, we want to have, We got 30 teams in the league. Let's have 22 of them make the playoffs, and then we'll have like a. Have you ever seen the movie Basketball, Adam?
Oh, I haven't seen it in such a long time, but it's just a good laugh to watch.
So Basketball, if y'all haven't seen it, is a South Park movie with Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and they come up with a game that is baseball related as far as like running bases, and there's home run scoring and shit like that. But you shoot a basketball to like do your scoring. So it's actually a really fun fucking sport that they come up with in it. And yeah. Anyway, in that show, Bob Costas is one of the announcers, and they end up having like a 162-day round robin, 32 team eliminate, like triple double elimination. Like he goes into all the explanation, but that's what this feels like. It feels like just over complicating and making it unavailable to a dying sport, not a dying sport necessarily, but a sport that you're trying to bring to young people, and you're making it on when they're like in school. Like you can't fucking, like high school kids can't even watch this shit because it's not on TV when they're available. And I think it's really a bad idea. And to push it all the way this late into the championship series is just awful, terrible. Like I cannot stress this enough how bad of an idea this was.
And I get that. I mean, you do have one series that is playing in California, but when that game's kicking off, it's like what 1 o'clock over 1 o'clock Pacific time when that first pitch was going in San Diego. It's like 4 o'clock Eastern time, so you're getting like people are getting off work, kids are getting out of school. So if you really if you like get out of work at 4, go pick up your kids from school, you're getting home just in time for like the 5th, 6th inning if you're lucky.
Dude, so I wasn't paying attention. My days at work have been bananas. We got back from vacation yesterday, and I was swamped at work. Totally forgot that it was on. I was taking a break and on Twitter, and somebody said the LCS game started at 1:30 Pacific time, and I'm like, wait, what? Like it's on like right now, and it's like 4 p.m. Mountain time, and we're in like the 5th or 6th inning, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? I'm like, why is this on right now? And I just like lost it. On the flip side, we were in Minnesota over the weekend, and we turn on game 1 of the LCS. It's 9:30 at night, and they're in the 2nd inning. Like, how do you not balance this somewhat to start it at like, I don't know, 5 o'clock Pacific time? Then it's 7 at the latest on the East Coast. It's 6 on the Mountain time. What are we doing, baseball?
I agree. They have a scheduling problem. That's something they'll have to look at next year when they get ready to set this playoff format. Next year, it's just look at the scheduling and hopefully learn from what they're doing this year. Yeah, they're not going to learn. They're not going to learn.
So stupid. It's ridiculous. As far as the like overall structure of the playoffs, I think 3 division winners, 3 wild cards is too much. But then, so what is it? You have 3 division winners. The 3rd division winner plays the 1st wild card. Yeah, just have 1 playoff team again. Fuck all this shit.
Go back down to the 4 teams each
league.
Like
what? Like I don't know, man. I mean, because you can't do 5 because then there's a bye, and 6 is where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Fucking shit show. Like, or just like, why did somebody have a bye then? If there's 6, how did it work?
So when you had 5, when you had 5 wildcard team,
the top two had buys.
I know when all 3 division winners had buys, and the 2 wildcard teams did that 1 game playoff that 1 game wildcard game
for this year.
Oh, the 1, 2 seed,
top 2 had buys, right?
Top 2 had buys.
Yeah,
the 3rd
eliminate that shit. Eliminate that shit. That we can stick with 6. Just eliminate these stupid buys.
Yeah, I mean, again, first year going, so you're bound to get everyone's opinion on this one. Even on Twitter, people were kind of roasting how it was just a little bit of lag time for their team going like, I had to wait this long for my team to play at a playoff game.
Like as a Mets fan, it honestly probably would have benefited us only because DeGrom really only pitched a half a year. He might have been able to use the extra rest. Max was clearly banged up in his start. He could have used the extra rest. But that dead ass offense already did not need fucking 5 more days to not learn how to hit. That would have been a bad. It would just been Max and Jake being healthy, and it would have been 1-run games and 2-run games, and then Mets probably would have got smoked by the Dodgers, and it all would. I don't know. It's playing out interestingly. I just think it's very fascinating that 3 out of the 4 best teams almost either lost or almost lost, and it's probably because they had a week off.
Yeah. So with that said, let's flip to the other division series where we saw, again, kind of almost the same thing. Dodgers, 111 wins, most wins in baseball all season. They win game 1 5-3, lose game 2 5-3, and then the Padres go on to win game 3 2-1 and close out the series 5-3. So the Dodgers, all that offense, all that payroll, all that talent for a regular season team, ousted in 4 games in the division series.
And San Diego's offense doesn't it's not like these teams put up tons of runs.
The line score is very close if you were to expand the line score to like hits, errors, runners left on. It's very close. It's a very close series than what we just read off. I mean, yeah, the Padres did win, but they never outslugged the Dodgers. No team outslugged each other in this series. It was all very close as 2 or 1-run games the entire series.
What's interesting, and they talked about this in the Mets series, and sorry to keep going back to that, but
no, go for it.
Mets can't hit the long ball, and teams that are winning in the playoffs are hitting the long ball, and it's not necessarily like they're hitting tons of home runs. Like the Phillies won hitting 2 solo shots. But like it's opportunistic home runs, it's getting guys on, managers are playing they're pitching their starters, very short time. They're getting to their bullpens quicker. So it's all strategic. So you're going to see these lower scores anyway. And it's just being able to hit opportunistic home runs. And that's essentially what's happening. That's what happened in the Dodgers series with the Padres. That's what happened. Like the Phillies smashed the Braves with home runs. So I totally agree with that. It's very interesting to see like low scoring games, but like the runs that were scored were done off the long ball.
Yeah. And I'll give you here. So here's a fun fact about how this NLDS kind of played on. This was tweeted by Sarah Langs on Twitter. The Padres won 22 fewer games than the Dodgers. The Phillies won 14 fewer games than the Braves. I'm going to give you a little question on this. Can you name which playoff series had the greatest margin of win differential between the lower team and the higher seed?
Like ever historically?
Ever historically.
No.
All right, so you ready for this?
I bet it's like the 91 Braves or some shit.
So the 91 Braves are not on this list. In 1906, Chicago White Sox had the highest win differential by 23 games to the Chicago Cubs. They win the World Series. In 2000, you had the Yankees, who had 21 less wins than the Mariners. 2021, the Braves had 18 less wins than the Dodgers. 1973, the Mets has 17 fewer wins than the Reds. 2019, Washington had 14 fewer wins than the Astros. 2006, St. Louis had 14 less wins than the Mets. And then 1954, the New York Giants had 14 less wins than the Cleveland Indians at the time. So again, it's rare that you see this upset in the series, but to see it happen in 2 series in the same playoff year is just astronomical in my opinion. It's just crazy that you have 3 100-win teams now out of the playoffs completely.
The one that you were calling out, the 2000 Yankees.
2001 Yankees.
Oh, 2001 Yankees.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because the 2000 was the Subway Series, but 2001 Yankees, like that was to that 116 win Mariners team, and they had what? Would you say 18 less wins?
18
21?
less wins. Yeah, so they
won 98 fucking games, dude.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not like we have like a 101 to like 77 type situation. You know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't like the Cardinals in 06 where they won 86 games and
yeah,
just
86 out of what though? Like 120?
100. Let's see, they played the Mets. I have to look up the on who had the best record that year. See what the actual.
Would you say the
was.
80? Was it 80? Would you say the 86 Astros?
No, the Cardinals in 06 had 86 wins.
Oh, yeah, they played.
And they went.
Yeah,
and they played 162. 1954, it was 120 games. I think.
Don't ever bring that fucking 06 Cardinals team up again. God damn it, dude. I want to punch Yadi Molina in the dick for that series, dude. But I want to hug Andy Chavez forever for that catch because that was like
that was an amazing catch at the wall.
That will go down as one of the greatest Mets catches in history. Yeah, just the how far he was over the wall. I mean, it's going to continue to grow in lore, but you know his entire upper body was above the yellow line when he caught.
Well, you saw the wall just like bend 2 feet back and then bend 3 feet forward. So it was.
He was up there.
It was definitely up there.
But anyway,
we both had the Dodgers win the series. We were obviously wrong on this one, so that sets up a Padres Phillies NLCS, which we'll get in here shortly.
Didn't I say that either team? Man, yeah. See, I had LA 3-2, but I wanted to pick the Dodgers.
You wanted to pick the Padres.
I mean the Padres.
I wanted to pick the Padres, but you're like, you were flipping on that one. You were flipping on that one. That one I can't remember.
All right, whatever.
All right, let's get over to the.
I told you Dodgers with Dodgers.
Dodgers dodged. What can I say?
They dodged the playoffs again. Terrible. Dodged the World Series, Dodgers. Good job.
Astros and Mariners. Astros pretty much took care of business, like we said. Win game 1, 8-7. Win game 2, 4-2, and then win a marathon game 3 in 18 goddamn innings, 1-0. We did watch that game. We were flipping back and forth between that game and the Guardians-Yankees game, and we just kept going like, Jesus, someone scored. The Mariners had opportunity after opportunity.
So that was in
Seattle. Game 3.
Right? Yeah.
Only thing I remember is Mariners brought in Robbie Ray to hopefully close out the game, and he ended up giving the solo shot.
And that's not a walk-off, right, though, because the Mariners would have still had a chance.
Yeah, that's not a true walk-off, but
I couldn't watch it anymore. It was just too long.
Yeah, I stayed up. We watched. We pretty much once we finished that game, we closed out the Guardians series. We ended up getting to bed maybe around midnight that night.
Wow.
Yeah. Chris, you had the Astros 3-1. I had Houston 3-2. So we both picked Houston to beat the Mariners. So they're the only team that swept their division series. They took care of business and advanced to their 6th straight ALCS.
Wow. Fucking crazy trash throws.
Yep.
Bastards. All right. Final. So listen, y'all listen to this fucking podcast. I was on it. I was on all of them. Except I didn't nut up and fucking pick the Padres.
You had 3 out of the 4. I only had 2 for 2. I went 2 out of 4. So you could have swept it. You could have had a full sweep.
Could have swept it if I would have pulled the trigger on the Padres. But Guardians, Yankees, I had New York winning 3-0. Adam had New York winning 3-1. I already touched on it. Went 5. Yankees won game 1 4-1. Garrett Cole was phenomenal. Guardians won game 2 and game 3 by scores of 4-2 and 6-5. Yankees win game 4, 4-2, and game 5, 5-1. Yeah, like talked about already. They got pressed. Also, weather, dicked around with this series a lot. And Adam, like you touched on, man, 300 plus winning teams eliminated in the first 2 rounds with the Braves, Mets, and Dodgers. Yankees had 99 wins only because they completely shit the bed for 2 months and still are somehow here because, baseball is scripted. But here we are, Adam.
Here we are. And one thing I will say, I'll tip my hat to the Guardians. They, like you said, pressed the Yankees. I think they played a phenomenal series against the Yankees. They unfortunately just had a couple of innings not go their way, but I'll tip my hat to the Guardians. They had a hell of a season, and they made a hell of a run in the playoffs. They were definitely – I thought they could have closed it out in Game 4 and got to the ALCS, but unfortunately, they just couldn't get over New York. But I'll tip my hat to the Guardians on a hell of a season.
For sure. Where were we for game 5? I know we're at, like I said, we're in Minnesota. Dude, when I'm out of town, I feel like I'm on another planet. And like I'm like sports are there, but it's almost like I'm time traveling back to like when I had to watch The Bottom Line on ESPN or like,
yeah,
I just like feel like out of my element and like you're doing other things, vacation-y and like sports. Like when I'm at home, like sports are like my whole life. So like that's what I do day in and day out. We talk shit on Twitter, do a couple podcasts and obviously talk to Adam about baseball. But when I'm on the road, I just like I don't know. I feel very discombobulated. Like didn't watch any college football on Saturday. Missed the big Tennessee Alabama game that was absolutely crazy. So I know we are out of town for this game. Maybe we are driving back, but who'd the Guardians throw?
I can find that out real quick.
Because I heard they didn't throw Shane Bieber, and I'm like flabbergasted as to why.
I think they threw Bieber in. Was it? I can't remember where they threw him in. If it was in Game 3, was it Game 4? Were they? So, I did have a good friend of mine who did fly up to Cleveland from Florida to see Games 3 and 4, and I'm watching his Snapchat videos, and when the walk-off happened in Game 3, that fucking stadium was just lit to another level, and pretty much everyone in the stadium was lit at that point.
Yeah. So it looks like. So let's see here.
Okay.
I think they threw him in Game 2 because McKenzie threw Game 3.
Yeah, McKenzie threw Game 3.
So yeah, Bieber threw Game 2, which would have been on what day was this? Was the 14th. So then Game 5 was postponed on Monday. So yeah, yesterday, Tuesday. So fuck, that's 4 days rest. That's 3 days rest. Pitch on the 4th day. I don't know how you don't throw Shane Bieber unless something was going on with him. They threw Savali and he got absolutely fucking rocked, dude. That guy sucks.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Bieber stat line. He went 5 2/3 inning, Game 2, 5 hits, 2 runs, struck out 7. So he pitched phenomenal in Game 2, which definitely helped the Guardians win that game. But yeah, I don't know why. Unless something we don't know behind the scenes, maybe he has some like either elbow tightness or just something with his arm that he had that maybe that's popped up in the offseason. So
anything's possible.
Yeah,
we'll see. But that's one of those things where if you can throw him, you do. So unfortunate for them, for the Guardians, but like you said, Adam, tip your cap to a good season for Cleveland. Guard the land, bitches. I might become a fucking Indians fan. An Indians fan. That's hilarious. A Guardians fan.
There you go.
So I was listening to some podcasts on the way home. I listened to this podcast called Macrodosing, which is put on by Barstool. and it's PFT and Arian Foster, the two main co-hosts. And like I'm so far behind on this thing. Like I'm in like summer of 2021, so they hadn't even named the Guardians yet. But this one of the interns on the show is a young lady from Cleveland, and they were asking her what she wanted them to name them, and she said the Spiders because that was the original name.
Yeah,
it sounds so much better than the Guardians, but I get the whole Guardians thing, but she was like, they're gonna fuck it up because Cleveland's gonna name it some stupid Cleveland thing, and I think it's cool. I think the logo's kind of cartoony-ish, I guess, kind of. I don't know. It looks like Thor in a way, like not cool.
Thor's
Thor,
helmet. It looks like Thor's
old
helmet.
school Thor's helmet, right? Like I don't know. It's whatever, but. God bless the Guardians for getting this far. So on to the league championship series played at 9 a.m. on a fucking Tuesday or Wednesday morning, where depending on where you're at. If you're in Hawaii, you're fucking screwed. You better just not even go to bed if you want to watch baseball.
No, wake up so early and just start drinking.
Yeah, or eating peanuts or sunflower seeds or hot dogs or anything else that goes with the American classic other than alcohol, Adam. Can tell which one of us is the lush on the show. Anyway, so we'll start with the National League Championship Series since that kicked off yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
kicked off yesterday.
Why are they playing back-to-back games too? Like, just let them have a day off in between and play the other game on the other game, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
See, the NBA, as mad as I get at them,
they do it right.
No, because they'll fucking throw us like, oh, it's a travel day? Let's take a week off. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But now the NBA's added more series, so they have to tighten up. So they're actually better at this. I still think they do 2 days off for travel in between games, which I think is ridiculous.
I think it's hockey. I think it's hockey that does the alternate. Like when they get to their conference finals, they do the alternate, like Western, Eastern, Western, Eastern. They'll alternate back and forth, I think.
Yeah, and the NBA, man, they all play so like those. The NBA, and NHL. Like you'll get back-to-backs in the NBA, or back-to-back 1 day off. Play again, or play and then have a day off and then play back to back. So you'll play 3 games in 4 days or 4 games in 5 days, and that's brutal. So I get it when they get to the playoffs, they want to stretch these guys out a little bit. That makes sense. But for baseball, I don't understand why we're playing every day, but that's fine. So game 1, Phillies win 2-0 on opposite field home run by Bryce Harper and an absolute tattoo by Kyle Schwarber. Adam, did you happen to see this home run?
I saw the highlight. I saw the replay of it, and I just I was at work, sat back in my chair, and went, "Damn!" That as soon as it left the bat, you just knew that it was gone. The question was how far and where was it going to land.
So Bryce Harper had an awesome reaction to it. He just had an open mouth and big eyes, like shocked. Yeah. And then they dropped the numbers on it. It was the second hardest hit baseball ever in the playoffs at 119 miles an hour, like the 5th hardest hit baseball ever. And maybe it was the hardest hit baseball in the playoffs, second longest home run in the playoffs. And I think it was probably only the second longest because of the stadium. Unless they calculate that in. Anyway, it was 488 feet. He absolutely karate chopped it, samurai sword straight through the baseball and hammered it. And they interviewed him after it. Like, I don't know, man. I always kind of like Kyle Schwarber, and not necessarily for who he is, because I don't listen to interviews of baseball players unless it's the Mets usually. But he's a funny guy. He's a really humble dude. Very aw shucks, I just got a hold of one, or whatever. Like, he was just really, really cool about hitting that tattoo. Gave Yu Darvish a hell of a lot of credit for because he put, 2 runs. You give up 2 runs. He pitched a good game. But Zach Wheeler was absolutely dominant in this game. Yeah, phenomenal pitcher, Zach Wheeler, former Met, former Blue Jay. I guess I'll give it back to them too, but either way, still former Met.
Yeah, I mean Wheeler was the only in his box line. I'm pulling up the box score right now for him. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, strikes out 8, and then the bullpen comes in, just completely shuts down the rest of the Padres for the rest of the game. So the Padres are just left in check with 1 hit. They leave 9 on base. They struck out 11 times in game 1 as a team. So yeah, they just kind of
Wait, they left 9 on base? Wait, who did?
Padres
They only had 1 hit.
walks.
Yeah, but he walked that many people? Or they walked that many people collectively?
This is telling me something different. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna buy that. So
That's
anyway.
weird.
But yeah, Phillies. I'll give the Phillies a lot of credit for just staying red hot. I gotta say, I love their hashtag they came out with, Red October. I think that's a phenomenal hashtag for the Phillies. I'm just a sucker. What
are we Russian?
Absolutely fucking
Russian Philadelphia? Fucking goddamn communists.
Good movie, though. Good movie.
Listen, phenomenal movie. I love that movie. I will watch Red October anytime it's on. But my wife's family is all from San Diego, so I am completely rooting for the Padres. Because that's my second highest ticket. I'll take $180 over 300 if it means the Padres win the World Series. That's fine. But yeah, so yeah, the Padres left 4 on base. Walker had 1. Walker had a walk, and Alvarado had a walk. How else did they get on base? They had 1 hit, 2 walks. So that's 3 base runners. Did they hit somebody? Like, what the fuck happened?
I have no idea. I'm just going by.
Oh, fucking Bohm had 2 throwing errors. Fucking bum. That guy sucks at defense. Anyway,
I will say about this series, I am pulling for the Padres just because I would like to see a team that has never won a World Series actually get there and win it. I would like to see San Diego to actually win a World Series. I mean, they came close in '84, lost to the Tigers. '98, they got swept by the Yankees. I think for this team and kind of what they've gone through, especially with having to deal with the Tatis fallout during the season, I think I would like to see them win the World Series. I would love to see the Padres just close this thing out and win the World Series.
Yeah, well, they won game 2, 8-5. Put up a 5 spot in the 5th inning. Yeah, great game. Machado went 3 for 5 with only 1 RBI. Brandon Drury had 3 RBIs. Machado hit a double. Drury hit a home run. Machado also hit a home run? Yeah. So, must have been a solo shot. But yeah, Padres win game 2, 8-5. Blake Snell getting the win. Aaron Nola collecting the L. Josh Hader, which we touched on Josh Hader a little bit earlier in the year. I think after he got traded, talked a little bit about how he and his wife had a difficult childbirth, but he seems to be in a good space currently mentally because he looks phenomenal. He is throwing extremely hard, working up and down the strike zone. So Josh Hader looks to be back to the dominant closer that he's been, which, man, Padres can get to him. It's lights out.
It's rough if you get to him with the lead. It's going to be rough for, I think, Philadelphia. So, I mean, tail of this game for me, Chris, has to be the bottom of the 5th inning where the Padres just pretty much got all their offense right there. the fifth inning was just pretty much game for me for San Diego. After that, it was pretty much San Diego's game right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they Phillies were up 4-2 going into that fifth inning, going into the bottom of the fifth. So they were up 4-2, and then Padres put up 5, and then another one in the seventh, and then Phillies got one back in the eighth that ended up 8-5. Out hit Philadelphia 13-8. Snell pitched 5. Gave up 4 earned runs, but to get 5 innings out of your starting pitcher in a National League Series or in a League Series championship is solid. Aaron Nola went 4 2/3, giving up 6 earned runs. Brutal.
And how about this? How about this? Austin Nola, his brother, gets an RBI single off Aaron Nola. So that talk about a little brotherly love right there when you're facing each other in the League Championship Series.
Did you happen to see their dad's reaction?
I missed that reaction, but
he was like, like he really just didn't know what to do. He was just like, do I cheer? Do I not? Do I just yay sons? I have 2 sons in the world.
Do you know if they were wearing? Do you know if he was wearing like a split jersey, like half Padres, half Phillies jersey, or
if he was, it had to be a front and back because he only had a Philly jersey on in front, but he was sitting with a shit ton of Padre fans. So I'm wondering if he didn't have a Nola Padre back jersey because it wasn't a down the middle thing like the Diaz family was for the Mets and Reds. But I would love to see Aaron throw to his brother someday. That would be cool. As teammates.
Oh, he
had to have caught his brother hundreds of times.
Oh, I'm sure 100 times. But yeah, if you get him like on the same team, that would just be awesome for that family, in my opinion. I mean, any family, if you have brothers or siblings playing in a major league game.
Well, JT Realmuto is going nowhere, so I guess it would have to be Aaron Nola going to San Diego somehow in the current state. Obviously, lots of things can go all over the place. Switching over to the American League, Adam. We're in game 1. So do you want to break it down? Do you want to tell the folks what's happening currently?
So game 1, Yankees and Astros are currently tied at 1 apiece. Both scoring in the second inning. Pulling up some right here. Hasten Brader homers off Verlander to give the Yankees the early 1-0 lead, and then Marlon Malandola doubles scores Chase McCormick, so the Astros tied up in the bottom of the second, and it's just been a good kind of pitching back and forth between the Yankees and the Astros. They're currently in the bottom of the 6th. Schmidt is pitching for the Yankees, so he's out of the bullpen. Looks like in his second inning of work. I was talking to one of my friends about this series, and it's like, who are you going to pick? It's like, I'm going to pick the lesser of 2 evils. Which team do you hate least in this series? Because that's what I feel like this is.
Are you asking me?
No, that's what I'm telling you. Like, sometimes it's like, which team? It's like, I'm picking the team I hate least. Do I hate the Yankees least, or do I hate the Astros least? And update, the Astros just took a 2-1 lead.
Gurriel with a bomb.
Yeah, bomb into the Crawford boxes. Astros are now up 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th.
Fuckers. So I'll go where my money is. I have the Yankees winning the World Series or either National League team. So like I said, I can't have the Astros. I mean, Astros can get there, but man, if they get to the World Series, I think they'll cruise through either National League team. It's better for baseball if the Yankees make it there because I think the Yankees could collapse enough to make it a good series with either National League team. And but I don't want to see Yankees Padres again. Or unless you can get a revenge Padres win, that would be legit. But I just have a feeling the fucking Astros are gonna be the play. If the Yankees can win this game, then I can probably get good enough odds on the Astros to hedge all my bets and at least win something for all of them. But safeties, tacos. Taco.
Yeah, was it that I think the percentage is like high 80s. If you win game 1 league championship series, you like have an 86% chance of winning the series.
Wow, that seems astronomical.
I would have to double check the stats on that, but I mean, you can't lie. If you win game 1, your odds are incredibly high just to win the series because you gain the momentum. Obviously, if you're a road team and you steal game 1 or game 2, you steal home field advantage, and take that back with you to game 3. So,
right,
and that's what the Phillies did in the NLCS. They took game 2, so they're taking home field back with them, back to Philadelphia when they resume on Friday.
So, who do you have in each of these series? Did you see? I know you said you're rooting for the Padres.
I'm going to take the Padres in the NLCS, and I hate to say it, I'm picking the Astros just because I have a feeling they're just going to somehow find a way to win it. So yeah. I'm going Padres Astros.
Yeah, I think I'm going Phillies Astros. I would love to see Padres Yankees, but I think the Phillies are gonna the Phillies are just figuring it out all year. If Juan Soto was playing a little bit different, I'd probably pick the Padres, but he seems to be timid up there. So yeah, I will go with Phillies and Astros. Like I said, I think the Astros are going to end up winning the World Series because that's just how my life goes, Adam.
I mean, if Houston does end up winning the pennant, it's going to be their 4th pennant in 6 years. They're going to be in the World Series again for the 4th time in 6 years. It's just, as much as you want to hate this franchise, obviously for the trash can, for the cheating, for whatever you can think of, they've been fucking consistent when it comes to playoff time. And it's now 3-1 Astros. McCormick just hit a solo shot to right field.
All right. Well, it's game 1. All right. Anything else for the folks, Adam?
No, nothing left for the folks. Like we said, it is League Championship Series. So depending on where you live, make sure you have an alarm set for these games because they can start at any time of the day. Who knows when they're going to start? So just make sure you set an alarm for when first pitch is going to be. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Set an alarm because if you live on the West Coast, you might wake up to baseball. You never know.
There you go.
All righty. Well, everyone, it was fun. It was real. It was real fun talking to all of you tonight, and Adam talking to you. Until next week's, folks, it's been the Bullpen Podcast, and have a good one.
Have a good night, everyone.